our ownership of the Bank of America this year probably will go up 7 or 8% without us spending a dime.
People wrote in, a lot of people had questions about the banks, about what's happening with the banks, what you've changed with some of your investments over time. Jason Goldberg writes in, he says, please ask Warren about his views on the bank stocks in general and on Wells Fargo in particular. Over the last 2 quarters, he sold almost a quarter of his longstanding Wells Fargo stake. Also in the fourth quarter, he dumped a third of his Goldman Sachs shares, although he still owns over $75 billion in bank equities. So what do you think about banks? Not necessarily the sell-off today because you don't look at day by day.
Well, banking is a good business if you don't do dumb things on the asset side. I mean, basically. And it's a business that the banks we own earn between, the commercial banks earn between 12% and 16% or so on net tangible assets. That's a good business. It's a fantastic business against the long-term bond, at 2%. If you have a choice between a 2% instrument and a 12% instrument, which one's going to win over time? So if you ask me whether I think banks are going to go down where they only earn 3 or 4% on tangible assets, I don't think that'll happen. The question is really whether they do something massively dumb. I mean, which periodically a number of banks have done, and I feel very good about the banks we own. They're very attractive compared to most other securities I see, and most of them are buying. Bank of America is buying in a lot of stock every year. So our ownership of the Bank of America this year probably will go up 7 or 8% without us spending a dime. I'd like to own any business, any good business where my ownership just goes up 7 or 8% every year without me spending any money, and on top of it I get a dividend and so on. They're very attractive, both against interest rates and against against bonds and against other stocks, in my view.
Investor Warren Buffett recommitted his favorite bank stock, Bank of America, during the first quarter while dumping 2 other banks as part of a number of moves in Berkshire Hathaway's stock portfolio. Berkshire slightly increased its 179.4 million shares staked in Bank of America stock while eliminating long-term stakes in U.S. Bancorp and the Bank of New York Mellon. So this is the monthly chart on Bank of America. As we can see, price is within a monthly buyer's level at $29. What you can also see from the monthly chart is that price volatility is slowing down, which means that price is getting ready for a breakout. In what direction? That remains to be seen. Scrolling down to the weekly chart, what you can see is that, again, from the monthly chart, on the weekly chart, price is making higher lows, but also lower highs. Last week's candle was a indecision candle, so things are about to get popping. Scrolling down to the daily chart, in order for us to get bullish on Bank of America longer term, we need to see price break out to not only to the upside, but close above the 200-day moving average. Nevertheless, until price decides what it wants to do, Buffett will continue to collect. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.